Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. All right. Thank you, Mr. Producer. As you see, I am joined by the one and only Miss Wendy Testa. And Wendy is the owner and the founder of Dea Luna. Welcome to the show. Welcome back to the show, Wendy.
Well, thank you. I always love being here.
I love the background. Where are we? Tell everyone what we're seeing here, because we're doing Zoom if people are listening on the radio part, but we got a very clear picture and a
welcome to my house.
Oh, it's your house. Okay, cool. All right.
Yeah, so this is my Reiki room. This is where I kind of do my business, do all my Reiki sessions for right now until I get a studio somewhere down here. But as most of you know, I moved to South Carolina, so for now, this is my temporary office and studio. So here we are.
Awesome. I was down there just from North Carolina, one of the first couple towns you get in South. So beautiful.
It is beautiful down here.
Incredible. So you made it okay with your cats and everybody in the van?
They're down here. They're all they're laying all around this room actually right now. I think they know you're here. They love your voice.
Well, that's awesome. Because today we're going to get into the in-depth about the chakra systems, which coincides with Reiki. But before we get there, can you kind of tell us a little bit about Dea Luna and about your talents and your expertise and what you do?
Well, Dea Luna is my company. I started it a few years ago after being in the corporate mess of a world for a while and wanting to do something a little different, helping people differently. And I got into Reiki and I love it. And I really just enjoy doing Reiki sessions. But in addition to that, I balance and help with your auras and your chakra systems using crystals, using Reiki, and it just balances you and makes you feel a little bit whole, a little more balanced, a little more, gives some more well-being to your life and just your emotional state as well. So there's a little more to it than just, these chakra systems and balancing them, because each one deals with a different system in your body. And if one's out of whack, they can all sort of go out of balance. And so we want your balance. We want you raising on a high vibration. We want you to be balanced and have a good well-being, a good sense of well-being.
Wendy, how do we know if we're not in that good balance? What are we going to feel like?
So people that don't have a balanced chakra system, typically they experience things like pain. They experience stiffness in their body. They have a low sense of physical stability. Even that feeling that you're just stuck in your life and you're not doing really well. There's issues going on and you're not happy overall. But even a lot of people say, I just don't feel grounded. I don't feel safe or secure. So that all has to do with the system that's running up and down your body from the crown of your head to your spine. And they're just these wheels of energy that if they're spinning properly, you won't feel like that. We can balance that. Any Reiki master, actually any Reiki practitioner can help you do that. So that's what we're here for. We're here to help you get balanced and keep you so that you do feel secure, that you are in alignment, that your energy is constantly running the right way.
So it's not just physical, it's some mental aspects that can keep you from being grounded. That's a big tell right there.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. There's a lot of different, there's 7 main chakras that most people do know about. Anyone that's been in any type of healing, energy healing, they know about them. There's 114 actually total. Which is a lot. And a lot of people don't deal with all of that. And that's fine, because they're everywhere. They're in your auric system. They're in all different places. But the 7 main ones are the ones that we really concentrate, especially in a Reiki session, on getting those to be, going properly so that you have balance in your body. And yes, there are emotional ones, there are physical ones, but altogether they have to be working systematically.
Okay, so it's kind of like the human body that, one system needs to talk to the other system.
Yeah, absolutely.
It needs to be in congruence. So maybe you want to start by maybe taking us through the chakra systems and tell us where they are and what we need to know. And keep in mind, there are a lot of beginners that are listening to us here. So yeah, I'm going to give you the floor here, Wendy.
Okay, well, here we go. So there are 7 main ones, and each chakra system actually also deals with an affirmation. I don't know how many of you out there do different affirmations every day. I am, I will, I see, and you look in the mirror and you tell yourself, I am amazing, I am beautiful, I am courageous. And I think we all should do that every day, because we all have moments in time where we don't feel those personal powers, and we need to do that. And each chakra system is actually engages in each one differently. So I'm going to start with the root, that's your one. It's right down at the base of your spine, and it's called Muladhara, and it deals with I am, and that's the base. That's the door to your core, basically. That's the door to life source, that lower life source. It has to do with Mother Earth and getting really grounded and feeling safe, having that security. So we all want that. So that's the one when you're feeling really insecure. That's the one we need to work on. Some things related to that would be physical ailments, arthritis, constipation, bladder, colon problems. So if you have any of those, that's where we would start working on that chakra system, that root, the very bottom one. And
Is it bottom of the spine, you said?
It's the base of your spine, yes.
Okay.
So a lot of times too, if people are feeling that they're just not secure, or they're not feeling themselves, I ground them in a Reiki session. And I've talked about grounding a little bit in other podcasts, but honestly, that just means get your feet outside and put them in nature, and just imagine your feet like a tree and growing limbs into the ground, and it's grounding you. So nothing can really knock you down. Nothing can really take you down. You want to say, I am strong. I am brave. I am this person that I want to be. And that one's the one that I think a lot of people don't realize the importance of, because it's the one that keeps you strong, and it keeps your base strong, and it keeps you connected to Mother Earth too. So that's a pretty important one.
Is that the one so bottom of the spine? Is that the one kind of by the pelvis, or is that a different one?
So it's at the base of your spine. There's another one up. It's a little more closer to your navel.
Okay, that's the reproductive one, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I'm a beginner, but I do pick up some things that you've taught us. So please continue. All right. So we started at the bottom of the spine, and I guess it would be, of course, not. It's more towards. I mean, you could touch it pretty much, right? It's like right
Absolutely.
where your lower back is, and right where your vertebrae are. That's kind of what we're talking about in the first one.
Exactly. And it's associated with a lot of red color. So if there's something out of sorts, I use a lot of red crystals to kind of bring that together. And I also use, I think tiger's eye is a good one for that one too. I think a lot of people out there are a little more familiar with that crystal than some of the other ones, like a hematite or a fire's agate or something like that. But that's it's a really red chakra. And it also has to do a lot with the fire signs, because it's astrologically linked as well. So a lot of fire signs, that's an issue with them. Just putting that out there too.
Okay, cool.
So then we move up and we get into what's called the sacral. And that is it's right at your navel, right at your belly button.
Okay.
And some people call it the Sea of Chi. So it's kind of where a lot of things settle and sit, and because it's where your feelings are. And it's a little bit more orangey in color, but it has a lot to do with intimacy, sexuality, relationships, passion, your creativity, things like that. So if you're having issues with fertility, for example, that's a good one to be working on to make sure that one is spinning properly. You definitely want that one, whether it's male or female. That's the one you want to hit. And a lot of people use like a citrine or a silver quartz crystal to bring that all together too. So again, I throw these crystals out there, but I really go by intuition and say, okay, this is what I'm feeling. So I'm going to place this on you for now, and just see what happens. But there are ones that are very strictly associated with them. I don't necessarily go with that all the time. I go with, this just feels right for me. So here you go.
Gotcha. And what do you feel in your hands when you put your hands over this area? Do they warm up or tingle or something like that?
Yes. So when we first start a Reiki session, I kind of like warm my hands up a little bit. I do some of the symbols, the sacred symbols on them. And then I do a scan over the body, and you can tell which ones by the energy coming out of each are a really good high vibration or a low vibration, as we call it. So the ones that are going in a high vibration, they're spinning properly. They're doing the things they're supposed to. The ones that are low vibration, you don't feel that energy as deeply. But in addition to that, like some other Reiki professionals, I use pendulum dowsing as well. So I don't know if any of you know what a pendulum
What is
is.
that? Yeah.
So it's a pendulum. It's a crystal that typically hangs off of a chain, and you hold it in your hands, and you can hold that over each chakra. And if they're spinning properly, that means that chakra's in alignment. If it's not spinning properly, it means it's out of alignment. So I usually
Ah,
do that at the beginning of a session and at the end of a session to make sure I've actually worked on and done the proper ones and that they're working and everything's in balance.
okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, that's it. Dowsing's a really it's an interesting way to do things, but I love it. I just think it works really well, especially with the chakra system. It's
Okay,
kind of, I use it in tandem with it.
okay, all right. All right. So then we move to, or
We move to what?
are we still is there any more on number 6, the chakra,
Sacral.
sacral? Thank you. Thank you.
No,
Uh,
that's we can move on to what we call the solar plexus,
Solar
Manipura,
plexus.
which is yellow, and it's based on I will. So that has a lot to do with your mental self, your identity, your boundaries, your destinies, your worldly structures, things like that. And that has a lot to do with a lot of people's digestion. So if you're having like indigestion, eating disorders, things like that, that's the place that we would start to work on and get you built up and get that one nice and healthy and spinning properly as well. And that's a little bit more of a yellow based color because again, everything is rooted in color as well. So we use a lot of different yellow based stones for that one. And
Okay.
then we move up a little bit more to our heart. The heart center to me is probably one of my favorites just because it connects. There's 3 lower and 3 higher chakras, and the heart one is right in the middle. And Anahata is a beautiful one because it connects everything, and you can just kind of feel some people have this amazing heart chakra because they're so beautiful inside. You know how we say that beauty's on the inside? You
Yeah.
can definitely see it when you're doing a Reiki session with those kind of people. You can feel just how much is coming out of that heart center. So I love that one when I see that in certain people. But that one, and it has to do with I love. So I love
Uh-huh.
myself. I love my life. I love my family. I love my job. Those are the affirmations for that. And it has a lot to do with love and compassion, trust. That's where your trust is, which makes sense. It all has to do with the heart.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course. Yeah. It seems that's where that would come from. Okay. And it's yellow.
The heart is actually green.
Oh, it's green.
Yes, which is kind of funny because we use a lot of rose quartz in the heart chakra system because rose quartz has a lot to do with love. I don't know how familiar a lot of you are with the crystals and everything, but rose quartz it's the embodiment of pure love. So I wear one myself.
Cool. All right. Awesome. So where do we go from there?
Then we move up and we get into the throat chakra, which is a very interesting one for a lot of people because that's where we focus on I speak. A lot of people don't understand how to speak their truth, know how someone says something to you and you don't want to hurt their feelings, or you kind of step back and don't speak your truth. That's the one we would work on there. And it has a lot to do also with like thyroid issues in people. it has a lot to do with creativity and gratitude, worthiness, because if you can't speak your truth, then you can't really say to people, hey, you can't be strong. And we want to be strong. We want to speak our truth. That doesn't mean you have to be mean or
Right,
unkind,
right.
but you have to stand your ground sometimes. And we all have to do that. So that's an important one, I think, for a lot of people that are a little more meek or don't feel that they're allowed to speak what's on their mind,
Is that a
relationship
confidence thing?
issues,
Oh, a
confidence,
relationship.
relationship issues. I think people have to have that open communication. And that's a big one for a lot of people.
Okay, okay. So from there, from the throat, and it has to do with communication.
Hmm.
Okay,
Absolutely.
gotcha.
Communication both ways too. That's a little bit of listening in there too.
Okay, all
So we
right, cool.
definitely want to focus on that. But then we move up, we get to the third eye, which is a very interesting, that's ajna, which yes,
Right.
right
Okay,
there.
all right.
Right between your brows.
Okay.
And I actually wear ajna as a pendant too. So
Oh, cool.
I think it's one it's really important, and it's I see. And it has a lot to do with sight and concentration and also listening there too. But it also brings into intuition. If anyone out there has like some psychic abilities, or you think you have some psychic abilities, that's where your third eye, we want to open that one. That's the one where, you know, you really get that intuition. You get that if you're asking for your spirit guides to come in and talk to you, that's the one we want to open the most, so that they're able to come in and they're able to give you that guidance, those messages that you're asking for. Because a lot of people say, how do I get these messages? You got to open your third eye.
That's the one.
That's the one.
So it's like a clairvoyant would use that.
Clairvoyants do use that. Psychics use that.
Okay.
But normal everyday people use it.
Yeah.
I use it all the time too, just to kind of see things that I can't see, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, it
Sometimes
does.
you have to kind of feel it with your intuition and with your third eye. So
Right,
that
right.
helps a little bit.
Okay, cool. And then I guess we go to the
The major, the big guy, the
uh-huh,
biggest guy out there, and that's your crown chakra, which is a
crown.
beautiful, and it's a really hard one for you all to say. It's hard for me to still say, but it's Sasha Rara. I still can't say it sometimes. But that is, I know. And that's basically the doorway to the divine. And it's on the top of your head. And that connects you to source. That gives you that inner peace. That gives you um, a lot of people you see that are just so peaceful and so calm all the time and just don't really get riled up. They're happy. Those are people that their crown chakra is wide open. A lot of people that are narrow-minded or won't really, they're skeptical. They don't want to think outside of their box, so to speak. That's a blocked chakra there. So a lot of people have a blocked crown. I just say that all the time. But that's also associated with a big violet or a white light. So when I tell you how to put that big white bubble on you, that's another reason, because it's starting to protect you from the crown down. And it kind of keeps that negativity from invading your space too. So it's really important to be able to do that.
Awesome. All right. Thank you for taking us through that. Mr. Producer, do I have time to take some questions? I do? Okay, great. Here, Mr. Producer's got some questions for Wendy. And before we take the questions, Wendy, Testa, tell everyone how to get a hold of you, please.
Well, you can get a hold of me on my website, which is dehalunallc.com, or you can call or text me at 724-787-5321. Available all the time, just for you guys, especially for you guys. If you tell me you know Casey personally, you get in right away.
Awesome. Thank you, Wendy. I appreciate that. All right, Mr. Producer, what do you got?
We have Dorothy in Long Island wants to know, does pain and discomfort in certain areas of the body match up with unbalanced chakras?
Oh my gosh, yes. Yes, it depends on what it is. But like we talked about, a little bit of digestion issues or certain spots, thyroid issues, migraines. Yes, they're all rooted in the different chakras. So we work on those. If you come in for a consultation or a Reiki session, the first thing I ask you are, what are your physical ailments? Because they're not necessarily always related to the ailment itself. There's something else going on. So we want to get to that root cause and try and start that healing process for you. But yes, definitely, they're all related.
Okay. And once again, if you go to Dea Luna, can you work with these people virtually?
Absolutely. We do distance sessions all the time. Reiki, again, does not know distance. It doesn't know time. It's energy. So it's going everywhere, just like things you don't necessarily see every day. That's what Reiki does too. We can go anywhere across the water to another continent. We can go anywhere and send some healing and do a session. So by all means, if you say, well, I'm 3,000 miles away from you, I can work with you.
Nice. All right, cool. Mr. Producer, what we got?
Thomas in Knoxville wants to know, when you meet someone for the first time, can you tell if their energy is unbalanced?
Good question.
Oh, that is a great question. Yes, you can. Because I'm really attuned to Reiki and I'm a Reiki master, I see it a little bit more prominently than most people in general. But yeah, you can definitely see, and it's not just from an aura field or anything like that, but you can tell from their attitudes. You can tell from the way they walk, the way they talk, just even the way they carry themselves sometimes. We've all seen it. You see that person walking with their head down or their head up. You can kind of feed off of that, but I get a little bit more because, my hands are always tingling, especially around good people. People are really good, really kind. I'm drawn to them immediately. And I always tell them, like, you have such good energy. People think I'm crazy, but I'm like, you have such a good energy. But I want them to know that because sometimes that makes a difference to some people,
Yeah, who wouldn't want to hear that, All right, Mr. Producer, we got time for another one?
Yeah, we got Queen in Boston wants to know, is that heavy feeling in our chest and our stomach when we feel stressed connected to the chakras?
Well, I think we all have that gut instinct and you should use it all the time. But if you're feeling off or you're feeling something like that, absolutely, a chakra could be off and it just needs balanced a little bit. And that's sometimes when people go out into the world and they're not feeling safe or secure, that's where a chakra is a little bit off. So you're catching that because you're not balanced. You're not 100%. So you want to get that balance back and don't feed on that because that'll take your vibration down. It'll lower it down. And it's harder for you to get back up and work on a higher vibration if you keep letting yourself go low.
Great advice. Hey, Wendy, Testa, anything, thank you so much for explaining in depth. I for one, have learned a lot, and I'm sure a lot of people have too. But let me give you the floor for anything you want us to think about or to kind of drive in. And then once again, I know it's monotonous, but please tell us where to get a hold of you once more. All right. I'm sorry to keep asking you, but just
I love it.
I
love
at
it.
Different times,
They do. Well, at the end of the day, a Reiki session is good for so many different people, whether you're having physical ailments, mental issues, or just don't feel yourself. And the chakra system is the one that we work on. I work on personally all the time. So definitely want to keep you balanced, want to keep you healthy. We live in a world with a lot of stuff going on, whether it's diseases or not feeling good or just people and they're not so positive anymore. So we want to keep everybody on that high. If you need help with that, please contact me at dehalunallc.com or call or text me at 724-787-5321. And every day, all day, be you, baby, because you're the only one you got. And you're amazing. Love and hugs to all of you.
Wendy Testa, everybody. What a great guest. Thank you, Wendy. And I can't wait to hear from you again. All right, guys, we'll be right back. Stay there.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home. that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.